Hey everybody. Guns. Everybody's talking about guns. Everybody's talking about gun control. Need more gun laws. Let's think about that for a second. Every time there's a shooting, a mass shooting or a school shooting, everybody wants more gun laws. So let's think about how well your gun laws have been working out for you. For one, everybody likes to say that the reason school shootings happen is because we removed God from school. Let's just nip that in the bud, because we removed God from school in 1963 and the first school shooting was reported in 1760. School shootings have been going on roughly about, on average, there were some decades with more, but on average about 10 a decade since 1760. However, yes, in 1970, we jumped up to 30. There was like 30 school shootings that decade in the 70s. In the 80s, there was 36. In the 90s, there was 67 or 63, something like that. There were 60-something school shootings in the 90s. Total since 1760 to date, there's been 476 school shootings. 145 of them happened just in the last 8 years. 145 school shootings in the last 8 years, according to the data on FBI website. 145 school shootings in the last 8 years. Prior to Obama, there was no more than 60 a decade. 60 school shootings every decade. Between 30 and 60. Yeah. The last 8 years, let's remove the year and a half Trump's been in office. That's basically puts this all on Obama's doorstep. 145 school shootings. Now let's look at mass shootings. Reagan, there was 11 mass shootings. Bush Sr., there was 12. Clinton, there was 23. Bush Jr., there was 16. Obama, there was 162. And 145 of them, or we'll say a 137, since they claim 8 mass shootings just this year alone, or school shootings. 145 of them were school shootings, all under Obama. Are guns the problem? No. I mean, let's look at some of these states that have the most strictest gun control laws, like Illinois, that have some of the highest crime rates involving gun violence, compared to states kind of like Arizona, that have the least restrictive gun laws and have some of the lowest recorded gun rates. Now, I was just looking up this data, and it's funny. I look this stuff up every single year because every year gun debates become the thing. Everybody wants to discuss gun laws and debate restrictions. And last year, Arizona wasn't even on the list. This year, we're in the top 10 for the most crimes involving a firearm. However, if you look at just murder rate involving guns, Arizona's not even on the list. And we have some of the least restrictive gun laws. So, making more laws isn't the answer, because if you look at the states with the most restrictive laws, they have some of the most highest crime rates involving guns, including murder. Now, some people are claiming, they're going to come take our guns. They're going to come take our guns. Let's think about this. There's over 300 million guns in the United States, and there's only like 417 million citizens. So it's not going to happen. There's something like 2.1 active military members, including reservists here in the United States alone. And people like to claim, they're going to use the military to claim our guns. Okay, 2 million versus 300 million. Military ain't taking your guns. They're not going to walk into a suicide mission. Nobody's that stupid. Regarding law enforcement, people like to say law enforcement's going to come take our guns. There's like 800,000 sworn law officers in the United States. That's including all divisions of law. That's not fucking happening. They're not going to fucking try to take your guns either. 300 million versus 3 million. Yes, I understand that the cops have, or the military have bigger, badder weapons than us, but nobody's that stupid. Now, as far as religion being the component that caused all these gun shootings, considering the fact that they were happened long before we removed religion from school, I will safely argue the point that maybe the increase had something to do with removing. However, I would like to say that the increase has something to do with removing guns from campuses. Ask anybody from the baby boomer generation, anybody from the generation following them, anybody from the beginning years of Generation X. They were allowed to bring their guns to campus. And there wasn't a whole lot of gun shootings. It was in the 60s and 70s when they stopped allowing guns on campus, and gun shootings dramatically increased. So there may be a correlation between the absence of religion, but it also may be the enforcement of restricting guns from campus to begin with. Now, think about this. Our Second Amendment guarantees us the right to own a firearm. Now, I will agree. A child doesn't deserve to own a gun, period. Under the age of 18, you shouldn't be allowed to own a gun. However, if you're old enough to enlist in the military, you're old enough to own a fucking gun. And I will always argue that point, because we should not be telling people they're old enough to join the military and go die for their country, but they're not old enough to own a gun and protect their family with one. Now, liberals will have you believe that all military veterans are mentally handicapped and shouldn't deserve to own a gun. They'll also tell you that police are nothing but murderers and criminals, but yet they want to argue the point that only military and police should own a gun. That's a pretty ignorant statement. Now, as far as removing guns, let's think about this. Stalin removed the guns and banned guns in 1929, and it resulted in 5.4 million people dead. Zedong, I think that's how you say his name, he banned weapons in 1935, and it resulted in 20 million dead. We all know Hitler, 1938, banned guns, 13 million dead. Pot, 1976, he banned guns, 2 million dead. So think about that. When you ban guns, more people die. Any law infringing upon our Second Amendment law right is a violation of our constitutional rights, period. That's all there is to it, people. Making more laws restricting guns is not the answer. It's education. It's education. Yeah, I had another thing to say after that, but it kind of, cranial flagellance just disappeared out of my mind. I like to think that it's morals. I think maybe, like I said in a previous video, if you follow me, then allowing guns back on campus, putting gun ranges back on campus, teaching, the value, the proper way to handle a gun, what it means to shoot a gun, comprehensive firearm safety, keeping guns on campus, not arming teachers. Don't arm teachers, because when a cop shows up on campus, they're going to shoot that person because they have a gun and they're dressed in normal clothes. I would recommend retired military personnel, veterans, still in their uniforms, their combat uniforms, fatigues, I believe they're called. Put them in their fatigues. A cop sees a fucking military personnel in a fatigue, they're not going to automatically shoot them. They're going to think they're there to help. Especially when cops are alerted to guns on campus, somebody's shooting up a campus and cops are alerted to it. It's simple as saying, hey, there is active military personnel on campus trying to resolve the situation. Keep an eye out for them. They are dressed as military personnel. It's simple as communication. It's education. It's family values. It's getting rid of these liberal ideas that more rules are going to fix the problem. Reagan said it best. People keep looking for the government to fix their lives. They keep looking to the government for all the answers, when more government is not the answer. More government has never been the answer. Think about that for a second, people. Think about what I said. Like, share, comment below. Let me know what you thought about this. Have a good day.